Welcome to Sponsored Post Podcast, behind the lens of how influential content is made. I am Justin Moore. I'm the founder and CEO of Trending Family, which is an influencer marketing agency that launches campaigns with family-friendly influencers. Today, I'm so thrilled to be joined by Amy Choi, who is the head of brand partnerships and new business at Shopstyle. Today, we're going to be talking all about the wonderful world of affiliate marketing. Welcome, Amy.
Thank you so much, Justin. So glad to be here today.
Absolutely. So why don't we kick it off? Give us your background, your story. How did you get into affiliate and influencer marketing?
Yeah, it was definitely an evolution with the way this industry has been going. But I started out my career at a social media agency working on the brand side, right? So, learning about the foundation and 101 of content marketing. Coming out of college, I was writing content on Facebook and Twitter. And really, those are the only two platforms out there that existed for brands such as Sports Authority. And we launched Barbie's channels and 7th Generation, you name it. It was really the height of social media, right? And I think that was what propelled my career in really focusing on digital platforms. Soon after, as you can imagine, bloggers were on the rise, and soon after, influencer marketing was huge. And so my opportunity really took a turn when I managed and started the digital division at a PR firm. We had beauty and fashion clients, and that was the height. That was probably 2012 or 13 when brands started to realize, wow, I need to work with these ambassadors. I need to begin to engage with them and start a relationship with them. And then most recently, 3 years ago, I joined Shopstyle because I think affiliate marketing is definitely where this industry is moving, especially when we have the data to support some of the metrics and KPIs that brands are looking for in regards to influencer marketing.
Interesting. And so tell me a little bit more about what Shopstyle is and kind of how it's evolved over the years.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, I've been at Shopstyle for almost 3 years now. And I think the basis of our business, and to be the most clear, are that there are actually two parts to Shopstyle. There's shopstyle.com. So for anyone out there who have loved and used Shopstyle, it's really a fashion search engine. People have used us for over 13 years, going on our site and finding, what are you wearing right now, Justin?
I am wearing a Patagonia jacket and a Target long sleeve t-shirt.
Okay, perfect. So if you typed in even just jacket, right, or a fleece jacket, our search results would pull and curate all the fleece jackets across our brands and retailers. And, Patagonia might definitely bubble to the top, but it served as a way for people to find what they liked, whether it's color, size, and then price range is obviously something key. And it would give them all the results that they wanted to then go ahead and click off to that retailer site to purchase, right? These are people that are coming on because they need to find something and they want to buy it. So in the affiliate world, we're a publisher. We're helping drive traffic and conversion to all these brands and retailers. And that's why they work with someone like Shopstyle, who have amassed 10 million monthly unique visitors who are coming on our site. The second piece of the business, which is, I think, the crux of maybe our topic at hand today, is our influencer network. So Shopstyle Collective is a network of 25,000, and actually at this point it's growing, probably 30,000 influencers who are using our tools. Justin, I know you know the influencer marketing space super well, and it's beyond just brand partnerships. I think influencers have become their own brand in business, and there's ways to monetize every piece of content and or recommendation that they are sharing to their network. So we give them those tools and resources to help them monetize. At the end of the day, though, we can see the data, right? And then we can say, so-and-so has driven X amount of clicks or X amount of sales to a certain category. It's beneficial for a brand to know that she can convert beyond just vanity metrics like impressions or engagement. And I think that's helpful in today's world because you want to, brands almost and agencies are trying to figure out this crazy, it's so convoluted now of like, how do we figure out and make sure that our money is spent wisely and that the return is there? So at least the affiliate marketing and our data helps. And it's an indicator to drive most of the decision making down the funnel a little more.
No, absolutely. So how receptive have brands been to getting that data? Because obviously everyone is kind of clamoring for data. We want ROI on our influencer campaigns. Like, give me conversion data, give me, foot traffic data, give me something, right? And yet you still see so many like high top funnel brand awareness type campaigns, right? And so like, are your clients actually doing stuff with this data that you're providing? I guess is my question.
Yeah, great question. So I think it comes down to ultimately what is your intent and purpose of the campaign and KPI? Like we work with brands and clients that do want that upper funnel. They want beautiful content. They want to boost it on social media, and that is great, right? Or it's a PR play for awareness. The ones that want a little more performance driven are definitely going to ask for that conversion data. To answer your question, Justin, I think it's more using the conversion data of each influencer to at least determine, should I work with her, right? In a pool of, so many odd influencers now, who should I really put my bets on and try out and test? And then of course, if it works, hey, maybe a strategy is keep her on. She's an ongoing ambassador. She can convert for the brand long term. She loves us already. Why not, work with her 10 times more in a different capacity? So that first insight, I think, just helps them. Maybe it's a little more of a comfort thing, but also just you get more numbers to it. And I think that those are what we're seeing as a trend, that more and more brands are coming to us because of the conversion data that we have.
Super fascinating. So I want to take a step back here. Would you mind sharing kind of the basics of affiliate marketing? I mean, a lot of the audience that we have on this podcast, they're marketers. A lot of them are influencers. So break it down for me, the pros and cons of doing affiliate campaigns for both advertisers and influencers.
Justin, great question. I'm actually going to take a step back and explain, I think, the foundation of affiliate marketing beyond where it is now. I think when it first started, it's how Shopstyle started, right? We were a search engine, shopstyle.com, where we help drive traffic conversion to brands and retailers. That's the same thing as there's BuzzFeed, there's content publishers out there where they're helping to drive traffic to a brand via their content. There's Rakuten Rewards, which is formerly known as Ebates, who, whole value prop there is the cashback aspect, right? And full transparency, we are owned by the Rakuten family. So we have that support and resources by the Rakuten organization. But, there's tons of out there. There's Honey, there's Retail Me Not. Those are all affiliate marketing. And so when a brand is looking to drive, really the metric here is traffic and conversion, affiliate marketing is the way to go because it's so data driven, right? You can use data to inform your next strategy. Influencers now are almost becoming their own quote unquote publishers because they have their own platforms, they have their own blogs. So that's why they're playing a role in this affiliate marketing space. But I don't know if that answers your question. I was trying to break it down because I think it's evolved basically, right? Affiliate marketing used to be content sites and people like Shopstyle.com, but now influencers who are individuals but have their own platforms are becoming publishers as well. And brands are seeing that.
No, super helpful. And so you mentioned, some of the other competitors in the space. Was wondering if you could share your thoughts on what's going on in fintech right now. You've got the Honey acquisition by PayPal, and
Right.
Plaid was just acquired by Visa. Some of these are kind of data focused or API focused acquisitions. But what do you think that means in terms of consolidation in the space, especially with all of the privacy headwinds that we're seeing come across the space with the California law being implemented recently? And I think we're probably going to see it spread to other states. Like, how does Shopstyle and Rakuten fit into that as we move in 2020 and beyond?
I think we're seeing trends of, to your point, the consolidation of people, like the acquisitions, when it makes sense for companies to acquire another company that is providing a value or another channel to help grow their business. I think that's what we're going to see. It's the same thing with influencer marketing platforms, right? I feel like platforms acquire other ones, whether it's from a tech background, they need their, dashboard or something, or they need, whatever the case is. I think the business case is that they're really looking for something. What is the hole in opportunity, and how do they fulfill that by potentially consolidating and acquiring other companies? I'm not a psychic, but I definitely do think that we're going to see more and more of this. It's just so saturated now, right? Like, I'm not the only one out there, and Shopstyle is not the only one out there that can do this. We have definitely some key differentiators, but it's a competitive space. But I do think that data is so important, and now the powerhouses will only come together when they feel like they can combine efforts to meet a larger goal. And then, of course, at the end of the day, it's client services. and what is the value prop of everything that they can give back to the clients in their programming.
How reliant are you on the social platforms in particular, and are kind of the ever shifting algorithm changes that they make disruptive to your business?
No, absolutely. Great question. I feel like when Instagram changed their algorithm, as with anything, I think you have to, when there's a big change, you kind of have to see it through, right? And see how people are reacting to it. How are fans reacting to it? Because they're the ones that are following the influencers. They're the ones that are using the platform. What is user behavior going to be like? And then how do we amend our approach, whether it's working with the influencers and allowing them to, I'm making this up, but like if something happened and the influencer no longer can do something, how do we create tools, right? How do we build something so that they are able to continue to monetize or improve their performance or engage with their fans closer? It's funny because we follow along. I feel like how social media is like right now. TikTok is huge, right? And I'm personally definitely looking forward to seeing the growth of this and how is there an affiliate play in this? Right now it's all about content, of course, engagement because they just have amassed such a loyal following. So that's interesting. But, IGTV is another channel, quote unquote, within Instagram where they allow links. Like you can put all the links in there, whereas before in captions, you can't. So like, is that something where people are going to start producing more content on? I think I already see more. I don't know about you, video content as a whole.
No, absolutely. And I think what's interesting is a lot of brands or a lot of companies built their businesses on the backs of these social platforms. And, if you recall, like 2 years ago, there was quite a few brands that went under when Facebook changed their algorithm to deprioritize certain types of content in the feed. And they had built their whole model on kind of this arbitrage of buying traffic to their content. And then all of a sudden now they have 10% organic traffic when it was 90%, like the month prior. So
yeah, it's almost like you can't hang your hat on one platform or put all your eggs in one basket. I think one thing you mentioned, Justin, which is interesting, it's the same notion of why we actually focus on our influencers and their business. And we actually counsel them on building their .com, the platform that they own, because, and this, at the end of the day, you own that, right? You own that domain, you own that, wherever you go and all your subscribers, your fans, whether or not say, one day we wake up and Instagram dies or Facebook goes away, like what happens? I think the key thing for these influencers to remember is that they have these engaged audiences and like driving traffic back to their .com and their main hub is super important as well.
So given your focus on influencers, what kind of influencer content works and performs best with the Shopstyle model?
Yeah, great question. Fashion and beauty is definitely our core. That's how we started, right? Bread and butter. But I think as influencers evolved, their audiences just follows them because they love them. So it's become more of a lifestyle. What they're eating for breakfast, what they're using in their kitchen, things around the home are huge, home, houseware. And then travel, I think people always love to see travel content and aspire to sort of visit certain destinations, whether they're hotels or resorts. But in terms of performance, I will say from an affiliate marketing standpoint, it's all about the blog. So the blog is where we see conversion the most, but probably no surprise there because that's where there's most real estate for all the links. There's long form content, there's links scattered throughout. And then at the end of every blog post, sometimes there's a roundup of like all the products. And that's what we make easy and accessible for our influencers to drop in products that look aesthetically beautiful, that they can like scroll through. It's a beautiful widget carousel.
I also imagine that you see kind of more long tail SEO traffic from blogs than you do on social too, right?
Oh, absolutely. Of course, because these women and men are savvy, right? They're building their own strategy. They're like relinking to old posts. They're re-promoting in their email newsletters. It's just huge. And so I think containing everything in your blog is definitely, to your point, long tail. You get that long tail effect versus that quick social blitz, which unfortunately, I feel like brands are all about social media and I love it. Instagram stories is definitely, engaging. I watch different influencers that I follow and I love to see what they're doing. But sometimes, I don't know, if you look back, do you remember what you heard or saw like a week ago from someone? I'm not sure. Like it's a question I ask myself sometimes. I'm like, what was she talking about 2 weeks ago? And I can't search for it anymore.
That's the interesting thing is, like you mentioned, I feel like there's so much focus right now on social. And it sounds like you're saying from a conversion perspective, blogs still perform the best, but I can't remember the last time we got an inquiry about a blog campaign. You guys probably do more and we're more video focused at Trending Family, of course. But just in general, I definitely have seen a shift away from that, it seems like.
Yeah. To be honest, I've been in this space for 10 years and I always thought that the blogs, I'm like, oh, maybe it's all about social. But ever since I came to Shopstyle, I think data, speaks for itself and that's where the conversion is. And sometimes, you think about it, you like to go back, you saw it, but you're like, oh, I'll come back later and shop for something. And you'll have everything there, nice and neat and easy to click. And we see this during key shopping seasons. I know this is a little fashion focused, but Black Friday, for example, or holiday is when everyone, here's a roundup of all the sales. Here's all you need to know to tackle Cyber Monday or what have you. People just like going back to somewhere nice, clean, and organized to do their holiday shopping, for example.
Right. Do you see different results based on the creative medium? So video or photo or videos embedded in the blog post versus photos, or do you have data on that type of thing?
We don't have specific data, but I will say it really comes down to, and this, the influencer will always know their audience, right? And so if they feel like this is the best way to convey a certain message, they will do that, whether it's visuals and or video. I think for the beauty campaigns that we have seen and have done, video always is key to the success, just because, the nature of the category. You want to see the application, you want the skincare routine or the makeup tutorial. So when there's a demonstration involved and an educational piece, of course, video. But if it's something that could be just read via text, that works as well in some aspirational videos. I really think it depends on the category at hand. But of course, the influencer, if her followers just like reading her because she has a great writing style and text is fine, she still converts, stick to it, So there isn't any one way or the other, I would say.
So you mentioned that Shopstyle has these widgets and other tech tools like carousels or things like that where influencers can showcase the items that they're curating in a really beautiful way. Do you view it as Shopstyle's role to kind of advise on best practices to influencers to better drive affiliate performance?
Yeah, absolutely. We are super engaged with our network of 25,000 influencers. Every time we roll out a new product feature or something, there's tutorials, there's, webinars and what have you. And then we follow up with case studies and we show them what works, what doesn't. There's a whole Facebook community for everyone to join. Obviously, if you're in the network, to really talk about tips and tricks. It's a two-way street. I think we inform, and then if they test it out and doesn't maybe work for them, then maybe there's another strategy that their fans resonate more. For example, we had a new feature with Pinterest where you can push a pin out, and the pin actually, it's interactive. So all the items that are in there, when you click on the pin, it kind of drops down to all the products within the Pinterest environment. That was a partnership with Pinterest. And so if you had a huge following on Pinterest, maybe that was your, tactic, right? And maybe you would utilize that feature more because that, maybe you were a super pinner and all your followers loved all your pins. So I think it depends, because at the end of the day, and I speak this if I was the influencer, if I knew where my followers were, my fans, I would try the different tools out and align to where they are and how they're consuming my media and content. So yeah, we inform them. And then we also inform, obviously we counsel our brands and retailers on what platforms they should play on.
Right. So talk a little bit more about that, because obviously you guys are doing more kind of top funnel influencer campaigns now, not just influencer marketing. Talk a little bit about how that's expanded your business and how advertisers think of Shopstyle now. Because like you mentioned, the space is so saturated. How are brands possibly supposed to navigate it and understand who they should be working with and what are your unique value propositions relative to all of the other people in the space? What is the perception of Shopstyle in the market, you think?
Absolutely. I think our roots are definitely affiliate marketing. People know us from our network, Shopstyle Collective. And so The misconception, though, I think you mentioned is that people or brands rather think it's just fashion and beauty, but we work across categories. Like I said, I've done a tech brand, travel was huge. We've done a couple of influencer trips, CPG brands, food, subscription boxes are huge. I think when it comes down to is that brands have to realize and understand that the influencer, regardless of if they started out as a fashion blogger, they have like cultivated such a following that now they just love to see what each individual does, whether it's fashion, beauty, or what car they drive. So brands are understanding that we are beyond fashion and beauty, and they're coming to us for not just affiliate marketing, but also, like you said, upper funnel. When we work with agencies, for example, it's all about content. We do paid media as well. I think that's huge, especially in this sort of industry. You kind of need to pay to play a little, especially with the algorithm, like we mentioned. But at the end of the day, it's keeping the client top of mind. How do we use influencers as a vehicle to drive that objective? So yeah, paid media is huge, content, brand lift studies, you name it.
Super interesting. So, all right, I'm going to do something kind of fun and put you on the spot here.
Oh, no. Okay.
So I'm going to give you a little mini RFP, and I want you to give me your quick high-level assessment and strategy of how you'd approach a campaign like this.
Okay. Oh, this is a fun project.
Absolutely. So let's say I'm P&G and I want to do a New Year, New You campaign for Pantene. Okay. So this campaign is going to launch, January, February, something like that. And the major KPI is driving redemption of a coupon at a retailer. Let's say it's at Costco or Kroger or something like that. What would be your recommendation to the brand manager or the agency to accomplish that KPI?
This is great. Oh, wow. Very detailed RFP, Justin. So I think there's a couple of things. I think you mentioned, having facts like what is the key objective? What is the action? It's redeeming a coupon, right? So taking that into consideration at which retailer, you mentioned Costco and Kroger, making sure that the influencers that you work with have followers that, shop at those retailers and are, I think it's the same way that when we look at average order value from our influencers, some may be luxury and some people's fans spend over $100, $200, and some people stay within that 50 range all the time. So you kind of use their average order value as a way to gauge the shopping behavior of their fans almost. So I would take a look at that because Costco to me is like a price saving type of demographic. The woman probably wants to bundle things. She wants to buy everything at once. She's the decision maker of the household, obviously. But redemption, I think, to get them to redeem, I think we would have to think of some creative platform, liking a photo or doing something and showing it in store to get a free XYZ or a discount. Something that's interactive, but of course, as you know, low barrier, right? Because no one wants anything than like a 10-step process to get something that they want and that they see could be theirs. And then, so I think it's a little data, but half the time it's really creativity also. I think what is something that Pantene or any brand for, that's in this situation hasn't done before? And how do you break from the noise? Because there's just so much out there. Like a plain giveaway is just, it's been done before. But if there was some creative element that could be infused, and aligned to a brand, I think that would get the attention of more people.
Interesting. You pass with flying colors.
Don't great. I was worried about my score, Justin. I was like, oh no.
No, that was something that I think was super interesting that you commented on was doing an analysis of influencers' audiences, because I think that's one area that I totally agree that some brands seem to overlook, and they seem much more fixated on the influencer themselves.
Yes.
So it's like, like I just want to make sure, I just want to make sure that this influencer matches the consumer persona rather than like, let's look at the demographics of the audience and let's look at some of the behaviors and like, is this the type of audience that would even be interested in an offer like this or this type of promotion? And I think that's really, really fascinating. And even today, I think that's a practice that I'd like to see implemented more.
Absolutely. I think it's just a misconception because people get blindsided. They're like, oh, this woman has to match my look and feel. That's the case for sure. If you're like branding awareness KPI and you want her in like a digital ad, right? Of course, you want the person to represent your like brand DNA and brand persona. But if it is sales and conversion, I would say looking at metrics like average order value. Location is key. When we talk about something like Kroger, is the majority of her audiences like in by coastal city, or are they in the Midwest or what have you? You really have to dissect, I think, every level.
Absolutely. So I think it also might be useful and helpful to kind of talk through how you're thinking about all the different platforms right now specifically, and how you would counsel a brand client to tackle them. So why don't we start off with YouTube first? So how does Shopstyle approach YouTube?
Yeah, so YouTube, when the brand really wants a YouTuber, right, a YouTube content creator and a YouTube video, we definitely want to make sure that they have a plan in place of if you're spending the money on a video, especially because, as you know, the production of it and everything, we want to make sure that you have, extending the rights, maybe usage rights, or turning that into paid media or a digital ad. We will want to make sure that they are getting everything that they can, because I think once that's out there, and YouTube is great because of SEO purposes as well, as you mentioned, but that community is huge, especially I think in the beauty space. Any tutorial, educational content narrative, I think is key. We haven't done much, to be honest, on YouTube. There's only been a handful where they have done hauls and unboxing. But I will say, if it's for conversion, YouTube's for entertaining, right, and education, but I wouldn't say it's the quickest converter.
Okay, interesting. How about Instagram and Facebook? I mean, they're the same ecosystem, but slightly different.
Yeah, you know what's so funny? I feel like some influencers have a really strong community on Facebook, and maybe that tends to be the older crowd, I'm not going to lie, but they convert, right? There's more real estate to put links, to be honest, on a Facebook post. So we always recommend, of course, both. If you were creating content, syndicated on both. Instagram stories, I think, is huge as well from an entertaining standpoint, engagement, and then sometimes it converts. But again, it's that, if you swipe up, you see it, you might remember it, and then it might not be attributed back to the influencer if you buy it later on. So that's the other thing in terms of how just affiliate marketing, it's not a direct converter sometimes.
Okay. And Pinterest.
I love Pinterest, and Pinterest still is, people are still on it. They're looking for inspiration. I recently just moved to a new apartment, so I've been on the hunt for new house things and looking at how to organize something. And I think it's a great place and environment to get inspired and then get tips and tricks. And of course, maybe later on you find a product that you love and that you end up buying as well.
Absolutely. And what do you think of Twitter these days?
I used to be a huge Twitter. I don't know what happened. I barely log on anymore. How about you?
Interesting. No, Twitter is my platform of choice. I'm a fiend. That is where I go for everything.
But for news, Justin, what do you go on for?
News, and I'm a politics junkie.
Okay,
so
yeah.
Definitely Twitter is where I'm at, and Reddit. Twitter and Reddit. So emerging platforms, like you said, you were excited about TikTok. Have any of your clients asked about any others?
TikTok, no clients actually have asked about TikTok. We're just getting familiar with everything on the platform and just kind of watching its growth. But it's just interesting. The other topic that I'm so interested in and passionate about is the evolution of platforms and the demographics. I mean, TikTok is obviously very Gen Z and young. And how is that going to inform them as they grow up and their decision making and their content consumption? And do they even want to buy things off platforms? I don't know. It's just so interesting because a lot of TikTok, they're what I think they're silly videos or entertaining dance. I love dance videos, but there's so much content out there and they're more entertainment based. So I'm curious just to see the evolution because kids now are so savvy, right? And people that are on TikTok are as young as 10. So I'm very curious about how that generation is going to grow up in this digital space and how they will impact brands and marketers because they're going to drive the conversation ultimately.
To kind of wrap it up, I mean, what do you think is next for the future of affiliate and influencer marketing? And I actually just saw an article this morning, or maybe it was yesterday, that Google is going to be discontinuing the ability to do cookie tracking in about 2 years. I think that people have been seeing this coming in the advertising space for a while, but it's it's going to have major impacts on advertising as we know it, right? So What do you think is next for this year and beyond?
So this is a great question because it's ever changing, right? It's almost like you don't know. It's the unknown, but it's exciting at the same time because you kind of ride the wave. So I think influencer marketing, the trend is more and more are becoming more figures and brands. Your name is becoming a brand. If you start as an influencer and a blogger, you're becoming a brand. You're opening up a store. You're having your own clothing collection. You're having your own houseware collection. Not even at a retailer, it might be a standalone. You might come out with your own line, right? Or if it was a partnership with a brand, that was a way in to showcase the potential of sales that you could have. But I think all these influencers are going to continue to grow as a brand, which is great. And they have so much to offer and share with their networks, right? Through their experiences. Affiliate, yeah, I think it'll be interesting because depending on how things in the industry shifts from cookie tracking or when new regulations are in place, things will also have to evolve on our end and how data, rules and regulations around that. And then FTC, of course, we didn't really talk about this, but I feel like this is something that is becoming more mainstream. I think the average consumer now sometimes when they see an Instagram with hashtag ad, they don't think anything of it now. And people are consuming these advertisements, quote unquote, the way they are, and it's fine to them. They want to know the sponsored content that the influencers are promoting. So we'll have to ride the wave with it, but it's also definitely an exciting time. I'm super excited and have been, always positive in this marketing field. So I love it. But yeah, 2020, here we are. I mean, Justin, by 2022, a $10 billion business for influencer marketing. So brands are savvier, though, I will say.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Amy. So how can people find out more information about Shopstyle? How can people contact you? That kind of thing.
Yeah, you can visit our site, shopstylecollective.com, or if you're searching for something specific and on the hunt, there's shopstyle.com. But feel free to email me, achoi@shopstyle.com, or follow me on Instagram, achoi, CHOI 88.
Awesome. You've just listened to the Sponsored Post podcast with your host, Justin Moore. You can subscribe to hear more great interviews and episodes via Apple and Google Podcasts, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts. For more information on Trending Family, you can visit trendingfamily.com. See you next time.